I never thought I'd be telling this story, but here we are. A few weeks ago, something absolutely insane happened that I still can't believe is real. Picture this. I'm at work, minding my own business, when I get a call from a neighbor saying the HOA is poking around my house. I thought maybe it's just a routine check or something minor. But nope. I come home to find that someone, from the HOA, actually tried to break into my safe inside my house, without permission. And here's the twist, the safe was rigged with a security die pack. You know, the kind that banks use. So the second they messed with it, boom, they were covered in bright, indelible dye. Now, instead of apologizing or admitting they were way out of line, they're suing me for damages, emotional distress, and God knows what else. It's wild. The whole situation has spiraled way beyond anything I imagined. I'm just an ordinary person who wanted to protect their stuff, and now I'm being dragged into this mess by people who were never supposed to be in my house in the first place. So, what really happened? Why were they so desperate to get inside my safe? And am I actually the one who's going to end up in trouble? Stick around, because it only gets crazier from here. So here's a bit of background, just so you get how bizarre this whole thing really is. I've lived in this neighborhood for about 5 years. It's a quiet place, nothing too fancy, but the HOA here is, let's just say, they take things too seriously. I've had issues with them before, petty stuff like my trash can being out too long or the color of my mailbox not matching their aesthetic. Annoying, but nothing major. Still, I'd always followed the rules, kept to myself, didn't cause trouble. A few months back, I bought a small home safe. Nothing crazy, just a place to keep important papers, a few valuables, and some emergency cash. Totally legal, totally normal. I didn't even tell anyone I had it, except for a close friend. But then out of nowhere, the HOA starts acting strange. Random notices, unannounced visits. One board member even asked if I was storing anything unusual. At the time, I'd brushed it off, but looking back, that was the start. Then came the day they let themselves into my house while I wasn't home. No notice, no call, just waltzed in like they owned the place. And the safe. Clearly, they were looking for it. But why? What did they think I had in there? Because it definitely wasn't what they expected. After the whole dye incident, I started digging. Something didn't sit right. I mean, why would the HOA, of all people, risk breaking into a safe? That's not just overstepping, it's completely illegal. I found out that the board president, Carl, the same guy who once fined me for planting the wrong type of flowers, was behind the unannounced entry. He claimed it was for a routine safety inspection. But what kind of inspection leads you straight to a locked safe in someone's bedroom? It didn't take long for rumors to start flying around the neighborhood. Some folks started whispering that I was hiding something dangerous. Others said it was drugs or something stolen. Wild theories. I even had a neighbor ask me if I was in trouble with the government. Like seriously. All because of safe. Then I started noticing I was being watched. Cars parked outside my house that I didn't recognize. HOA board members hanging around my street at weird hours. One night, I caught someone shining a flashlight through my back window. I called the cops, but by the time they arrived, whoever it was had vanished. And still, no one will give me a straight answer. No warrant, no apology, just lawsuits and silence. The more I look into it, the deeper it goes. And honestly, I'm starting to wonder if this isn't just about the safe at all. Things started escalating fast after that. The more I pushed for answers, the more the HOA dug their heels in. Carl and his crew were relentless, accusing me of dangerous behavior and trying to turn the whole neighborhood against me. It was like they were building a case, one ridiculous accusation after another. But the crazy part, I found out that they were secretly investigating not just me, but several other people on the street too. One of my neighbors, who's lived here for over 20 years, had gotten a visit from them as well, asking about his finances. Another neighbor said they'd been snooping around his backyard. It wasn't just me they were after, it was the entire block. And then, out of nowhere, I got an anonymous tip. Someone called me late one night, barely above a whisper, saying they knew exactly why the HOA was so fixated on my safe. "You're not the only one they're watching," the voice warned. "They've got a lot to hide." But before I could get any more details, they hung up. I didn't know whether to trust it, but something about that phone call felt real. By this point, I had enough. I had to know what was going on. I started digging through public records, talking to old neighbors, even calling in a lawyer. But every step I took seemed to push me deeper into a web of secrecy. The HOA was pulling strings, trying to shut me up at every turn. And just when I thought I was starting to piece everything together, things took a terrifying turn. One evening, I came home to find my front door wide open. My heart sank. I knew someone had been in my house again, and this time I was sure it wasn't just a harmless inspection. I stood frozen for a moment, staring at the door. It was wide open, and the silence felt wrong. I rushed inside, checking every room, every corner. Nothing seemed out of place at first glance, but then I noticed it, the safe slightly ajar. My heart dropped. I'd made sure to lock it before leaving that morning. Someone had been here, and they'd gotten past my security system without triggering any alarms. It wasn't until I went into the living room that the real shock hit. On the coffee table, in plain sight, was an envelope addressed to me in the HOA's official handwriting. I ripped it open, half expecting some kind of warning or legal threat, but what I found was far worse. It was a series of photos, and they weren't just random snapshots of my house. They were of me, asterisk inside asterisk my house, in moments I knew I hadn't let anyone see. The worst part, some of the photos were taken while I was asterisk sleeping asterisk. My stomach twisted. How had they gotten these? And why? The pictures were too clear, too personal. Whoever had been in my house didn't just want to scare me, they were tracking my every move. I started to panic. Had I been watched all along? Was this a threat, or was I just one step away from something worse? But then, as I flipped through the photos, one image stopped me cold. There, in the corner of the frame, was something that shouldn't have been there, a familiar figure. Carl, the HOA president. He wasn't just part of this, he was in on it. I felt like the walls were closing in. I had no idea what to do next, but one thing was clear. I wasn't just dealing with a petty HOA. This was something bigger, darker, and I had a sinking feeling it wasn't going to end well. I couldn't breathe. The photos were a punch to the gut, but the one with Carl in the corner of the frame sent a chill down my spine. I grabbed my phone and called my lawyer immediately. I needed someone who could help me figure out what was going on, someone who could protect me from whatever mess I was in now. As I waited for them to call back, my mind raced. Why would Carl be in my house? What did he have to gain? The questions were endless. The answer came sooner than I expected. My phone buzzed, and it wasn't my lawyer. It was a video message, asterisk from Carl asterisk. The video opened with him sitting in what looked like an office, calm as could be, but his eyes were cold. "I know you're confused," he started, his voice unnervingly steady. "But you were in way over your head. The safe wasn't the only thing we were looking for. You see, there's something much bigger at play here, and it's been under our noses for years. And you're just a piece of the puzzle." He leaned forward in the video, his expression turning almost conspiratorial. "I'm sure you've heard rumors about the HOA board, about how we've been watching certain homes more closely than others. Well, there's more. Much more. We've been tracking asterisk valuable assets asterisk, hidden right here in this neighborhood. And you're safe. Well, it wasn't just a random target. You're connected to something much bigger than you realize. You're part of a scheme, and now you are stuck in it." My mind was spinning. What the hell was he talking about? My safe was just for personal things. And yet, somehow, I felt like I had unwittingly stumbled into a web I couldn't untangle. But then, just as Carl finished speaking, the camera shook for a moment. A loud noise echoed from off-screen. The video cut off abruptly. I sat there, stunned, replaying the message over and over. What the hell had just happened? Was someone else involved? Was Carl in danger? Had everything escalated beyond just me? I grabbed my keys and bolted for the door, but as I stepped outside, I saw something that froze me in my tracks. A black SUV was parked at the end of my driveway, engine running, headlights glaring directly at me. It wasn't a coincidence. I wasn't just being watched anymore. I was being asterisk followed asterisk. In that moment, everything I thought I knew about this entire ordeal, that HOA, the safe, the threats, even the photos, felt like nothing but a cover-up. Whatever Carl had been involved in, whatever was happening, I was far from the only one caught in this nightmare. The only thing I knew for sure, I had to get answers, even if it meant putting myself right in the heart of a storm I wasn't ready for. But as I started to turn, a figure stepped out from the shadows of the SUV. I barely had time to react before they spoke. "You're not the only one who's been watching them." The voice was familiar, too familiar. I turned to face the stranger, and my blood ran cold as I recognized the face. It was my old friend, the one who had ticked me off with that cryptic phone call. But now, standing before me, I had no idea who I could trust. And that's when it hit me, the real twist. This whole thing, it wasn't just about me anymore. Everyone I knew had been drawn into it. I stood there, heart racing, as my old friend, Lena, stepped forward. She looked tired, worn out, but there was a sharpness in her eyes that made everything click. "You have no idea what you're caught up in," she said, glancing back at the SUV, where two more figures were now stepping out. I felt the weight of everything hit me all at once. The HOA, Carl, the photos. It was all a cover for something much deeper. Lena explained that she'd been working undercover for months, trying to expose a massive scheme involving high-profile individuals using the HOA as a front for money laundering and illegal activities. The safe, it wasn't about valuables. It was about what I didn't know I had. Documents that tied me directly into the web of corruption they were trying to protect. In the end, Lena and a few trusted allies helped me bring everything to light. The HOA board was arrested, Carl was exposed, and the truth about the scheme came to the surface. It wasn't just about protecting a few secrets anymore. It was about taking down an entire network. Looking back, I realized that sometimes the smallest actions, like putting a safe in your house, can lead to the biggest changes. And though the danger passed, the lesson stuck with me. Never assume you're just a bystander in your own life. The people watching you might be watching for a reason.